Oh, totally caught me off guard there. Oh, was not at all prepared for this. Guess we'll get started on chapter 8 here, looking at views of different 3D objects. Um, Here we go. We're going to be drawing different shapes using cubes. Um, Unfortunately, you don't have cubes right now, so you might have to pick some up if you want to practice with them at home, and you can just take some and make sure they get returned. So here we've got a shape. Imagine that. I just have this shape sitting here, so that's cool. I've kind of just drawn this shape, and so in 8.1 what we're going to look at is turning this shape into its 3D views of its sides, its front, and its top. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at today. Okay, so we'll just get right into it with this example here. If you want to draw the views, basically we take this shape, which was pointed at us like this, so that becomes the front side, and we end up just taking that as our view and plotting it on the front. So here, notice you can see this is 3 squares up and 3 across, and notice how they draw this separately, right? So you can see that this square here is not on the same plane. And you'll notice, if you look at it from the front, that shows me that these two, because there's no line in between, shows me that these two are on the same plane, and so are these. But this one's sticking out based on that. Okay, so if I'm taking that, and that's my front view, and if I look at it from the side, this is my left side view. You can see that this matches here. It's all on the same plane, so it just takes up 5 cubes, and you can see that perfectly. Okay, so there's the front side. The right side, we can just flip it to the side, and we can view it from the right side. And again, similar to the front view, we can see that this square is kind of jutted out. These two are on the same plane, these two are on the same plane, but this part is sticking out. Always go back to your front view. Okay, so if I want to look at it from the top, I could physically do that, or I could just rotate it as if I'm looking at it from the top, and we can see that this maps again. We've got kind of that top part sticking out, and then this is on the same plane, and this is on the same plane. So we're typically going to see this stuff shown in the exact same way, and you're going to be asked to show it like this too: front, left, right, and top. And it's typical to just draw it in that same view. It kind of makes sense so that when we put it together, the left is on the left and the right is on the right. Okay, later on in 8.3 we're going to actually draw this on isometric paper. We're going to actually build shapes and then draw them, draw the 3D. We're not going to really worry about that right now. Okay, so this is our shape again. You can see that this is the front view. One thing you will notice is that most of the time it does say which view to look at it from the front, but sometimes it doesn't. And then we always assume we're looking at it kind of from the left instead of from the right. Because if this wasn't labeled, we wouldn't really know, is this the front or is this the front? But we always assume from the left. That's typical in this section. Okay, but most of the time it is labeled. Okay, so we'll just jump into a couple examples here. Oh wow, would you look at that? I just have this shape sitting right here, 4 cubes. So we'll just practice drawing the shape of an object. Most of them are going to be a lot more difficult than that one, or at least more complicated. But always just pick one side to start with, one view to start with, and always go back to that view. It's usually the easiest to find a spot that's flat. In this case, they're all going to be flat. But if I just take my front view, I know that it's 4 cubes across. This is what it looks like. Now, because it's all on the same plane, nothing's sticking out, we can just leave it like this. If you prefer, you can, just to show that you've got another block, you can do the dotted line. I prefer to just leave it blank, but it's kind of up to you. So I'll just leave mine blank, so we'll start over here. And I'll just label it. It's pretty simple to label, just write an F for front. Okay, now if I look at this thing from the right side, notice it's just going to be one block, right? You can't see anything else, just that front, right side. Okay, same thing from the left. We can see this is just going to give us something like that. If I go back to the front view again, now I look at it from the top, it actually looks exactly the same as the front view. Okay, you just label left, right, front, top, and just put it kind of in this order. You should have hopefully no problem with this stuff. Okay, so that's the first example. Second example, okay, slightly different shape. Wouldn't you know it? Here's another shape ready to go. So it's almost like I had this planned. Cool. Alright, so this shape is slightly different. We can see the front view is labeled this way, the right side view, the top view, and the left. Okay, so we should be able to now draw this. I'm going to start with the front again. I can just count the cubes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, right? It's 1, 2, 3 across. And so we've got kind of that Tetris shape. Okay, just like that. That's the front view. Once we have that, we can always just go from that front view and just turn your shape to the side. So if I'm looking at it from the right side, I can almost act like I'm changing my view to the right side, but I can also just change it like this. Okay, now I can just start with the outline, and now similar to the last example, we can look, okay, I'm going to actually do a bold line just to show that this is not on the same plane as these other two. Okay, that's my right view. Once I have the right view, go back to the starting view, go back to the front view, and then flip it the other way. So now I'm looking at it from the left side, or I'm just moving it like this. Okay, left view looks like that. And if I look closely at this 1, 2, 3, they're actually all on different planes. And so I'm just going to show that by drawing that solid line. Okay. And then from the front, we can go to the top. Imagine I'm looking at it from above, or just rotating that shape so that I'm looking at it from the top view. These two are on the same plane. This is on a different plane, so I'm going to show that by mapping it out like that. Okay. It is important that we do these because in the third section, we're going to actually be taking these views and drawing it. So it's important that we know, okay, this is all on the same plane. This one isn't, so I should have things sticking out, and it makes it easier if you label that properly. Okay, so should be all there is to it. So you can see, we can also build the model. Once we build it, we can look at the shape from the side and make sure that our views are actually the same again. Right, so if I take my actual shape, does this actually map the front? Does that map the right side? Does that map to the left? Does that map to the top? So we can actually check that. And if he can do that, it should be easy peasy. So, nothing to it. Kobe.